Hello YouTube. So, I haven't made a video for quite some time. I believe the last one was New Year's Day, or could have been Christmas Day. Not actually sure, but it was a while ago now, so apologies to everybody that has been following the regular videos and expecting them to be more consistent than they have been. I do appear to be collecting a number of regular viewers now, which is absolutely brilliant, so thank you for that. I have been filming as I go along. Some of the work I've been doing has been quite sort of boring really, just all the fabrication work, filling holes, welding bits up and so on. Not really worth making videos about. I don't think that'd be very entertaining to watch. There are some other jobs I've been doing in amongst all that I have recorded. So I think what I'm going to do now is just put all the clips together and that'll bring us up to date, and then I can continue from there with the next video. So here we go, is what I've been up to. So, time for Raptor paint. Excellent stuff. Comes with the hardener. Also comes with a mixing cup in the bin. What I found with these, if you fill them nearly to the top, so you've got enough room to shake, you've always got enough. So, mixing cup, irrelevant. You can buy it with or without a gun. I've already got a gun from this previous kit. This is the last bottle of the full kit I bought to do the SLK. So put that on, give it a good shake. I'm going to have to wear my full face mask because somehow I've lost my paint mask. I don't know where the hell that's gone. So excuse the overkill, but I'd rather not breathe this junk in really. Let's get to work. so as you saw in the last clip, that went horribly wrong. Therefore, a new paint gun. I think I must have forgotten to clean it out once I finished with it last time. It was all bunged up. I tried to dislodge everything that was stuck in there. It didn't work, so just cut the thing open and painted it on by hand, so I didn't waste that bottle, because obviously with the hardener you don't get long before it goes hard. It's taken me a while to pop to Machine Mart to get another gun, and what I realised when I started painting is I'd forgot to mask up the subframe mounts and fill all the holes that I don't want the Raptor in, so it's probably good that that happened anyway, to be honest. So let's get this new gun set up and try again. So after the disaster yesterday and having to brush the paint on, as you saw in the last clip, all sprayed on, nice textured finish. I went over the top of the bit I hand brushed on just to give it that nice effect. Not that it really matters because it's under the car, but it's tidied that up no end. Very, very, very pleased with that. The main reason for doing this is just simply if I have to get underneath the car in the pits to replace the suspension arm or drive shaft or inevitably something else that I break, I'm not constantly getting all pieces of rust and junk in my eyes. It just seals everything in quite nicely, tidies the thing up, and makes it a much more pleasant experience if you do have to get under the car, or I should say when you do have to get under the car. So that was the purpose of this. So now I can get it off the rollover jig on axle stands, and it will make working on the other bits I need to much easier. So I'm going to have a tidy up for now and then get it off the jig. So I've put an X brace in out of CDS cage tube to the subframe reinforcing tubes. This brace is going to prevent subframe mounts from moving in an accident. It also sort of ties in the turrets as well, because I've cut so much out of the back. The strut brace linked down to the subframe mounting points and then triangulated back to the main hoop is going to make them a hell of a lot more solid. So it's a good improvement all round, to be honest. I still need to pop some little sort of noggins in between just to tie this in as well. So that's on the list for today. But what I thought I'd show you first, I'm now going to do the intrusion bars, and I have my bodgy little machine. I have got a JD Square proper tube bender now, but this is what I used for years. It's a pipe kicker or a pipe bender. The difference between pipe and tube is measured OD, pipe is measured ID. So what happens when you buy a pipe bender, these don't fit anything unless you want to put pipe in your car rather than tube. So they're just completely the wrong size. So what I did was to make a jig. It's very rough and ready, nothing too spectacular, but it fits the tube perfectly. It's really tight, pushes down into there, yeah. Really tight, grabs it nicely. Now you can only get, without going to a lot of trouble, you can literally only get a little kick. So like your screen, top of the screen bar, the kick there, it'll do that no problem at all without crushing the tube. If you want to go any further than that, it is quite a lot of hassle. You have to weld a plate on the bottom of the tube to seal it up, fill the tube with kiln dried sand. Can't be normal sand, has to be kiln dried. It's the only stuff that packs down tight enough. Tap the tube down on the floor and keep tapping it until the sand compresses. Press it down as hard as you can, make sure it's nice and compacted in there, and then weld another plate on the top. And then it works almost like a manual bender, really. You can still only get just over a 45 before the tube starts to crush, so it won't do a full cage, but everything on the cage is generally 45 or less apart from the main hoop. So what I used to do was get a professional company to bend the main hoop, make a hardboard template, get a professional company to bend the main hoop to suit the shape of the hardboard template, and then make the rest myself. And it saves a huge amount of time and money being able to create these things yourself. You get a better fit than most off-the-shelf cages. You can design the cage to your own specification rather than being stuck with whatever is available. Some cars, obviously, there's no cage solution at all. So yeah, I think it was about £85 many years ago, and it just gets you out of a muddle and enables you to be able to do these things without spending £1,000 on a JD Square machine. The JD Square machines are far superior. They're great. They'll do main hoop, they'll put any bend in, anything you like. So, you know, for the investment, if you want to go down that route making cages, if you're doing a few, then obviously the JD Square is a better machine. But this thing gets you out of a muddle, and I'm going to use it to put just a little kick. I'll just get the just put a little kick in this, because it doesn't need much, just so the end sort of meets up with the turret. So yeah, just put a little kick in that with this thing, and that saves me having to sort of carry the JD Square down here and bolt it to the floor and all the other associated hassle that goes along with such a big machine that takes up such a huge amount of space. So yeah, pop that in there, give it a little kick. Haven't measured the angle or anything, I'll just put a bit of a bend in it, offer it up, and just keep repeating until it's sort of a suitable shape for the area I'm trying to fit it to. Another good idea with this is to cut a couple of pieces of slightly larger tubes and just slide underneath these rollers, because they do tend to dent the tube. I mean, for this I'm not going too far, so it shouldn't be too bad, but if you're going to try and put a 45 or anywhere near that kind of angle, then it is a good idea just to cut a little piece of slightly larger tube and just lay over there to prevent that from denting. As you can see, nice little kick in that, hasn't crushed it or anything, probably not enough. Just try it and then go for a bit more. Just a little touch more. It's actually nearly there. Again, nice clean bend, not squashed or flattened, bunched up or anything. This is what you find when you try and go too far. Let's get this camera set up. When you try and go too far, the top lifts out of the bottom of the die, and then the bottom will sort of bunches up and squashes. Probably helped give it a little bit of heat, to be fair, but I've found with a combination of kiln dried sand and the plates, I've always got enough angle for whatever has been necessary at the time. Yep, that's perfect. Just get this camera sorted out. So, as you can see, straight through there to keep it up against the edge here so it doesn't get in the way inside, and then it just angles over nicely to meet up with the turret. So plenty good enough. Like I said, saves a lot of hassle setting the JD Square machine up just to do two little bends for the sides there. And obviously if I was doing the full cage, I'd set the JD up and use that, but as it's only those, plenty good enough. Right, let's crack on. Another day, another YouTube video. So, the car is back on the floor, on axle stands, off the rollover jig, which is a much better position for it to be in, so I can climb in and out. I did put it on axle stands when it was on the rollover jig to get in and do a few of the bits inside, but it was far too far off the floor and difficult to get in and out of. So I've still got some holes to fill in various places that were a little bit awkward to get to. So I'm going to fill them, cut some plates, weld them up. These smaller holes, because it's not a firewall or anything, I'll just take these little clips out and just put some of that silver foil tape over there, and once it's painted you won't see they're there. The side plates, I'm just literally going to seal them in with some silicone or tiger seal or whatever I've got lying around. So that'll seal the gap around the outside, and I can take the screws out and just a bit of tape over the hole for them, tape over the holes for these. And then this is kind of sort of the best part of the fab work complete, really. I've still got to mount the steering column because I cut the bracket off. It was in slightly the wrong position. I want to move the steering column over slightly because they never sit centralised to the seating position. So that's something I need to address. Obviously, this whopping great hole here, that's the first job for the day today, is to try and seal up all these holes. That'd be nice to get the engine bay in Raptor paint, really. I think that's probably going to be my next focus. Plate in there, plate up all the holes in the bulkhead, make sure everything still fits, and make sure I don't block up any holes I actually need for anything. That's also a consideration. And then get this prepped up and in Raptor paint. The shell itself, I'm going to Raptor paint the whole thing apart from the pillars, the roof, this section here, and probably down to here, I would imagine. I need to check how the side skirts fit, maybe down to this section here. If I just sand this down so it's smooth again, but I can mask all this out. I'll do all the door shuts in Raptor. I think it looks quite nice. All the interior will be in Raptor. I've already started covering these bits, but just anything that needs to be gloss paint to match the body, match all the panels and everything, I just need to mask that out. Like I said, there's side skirts going over here, so I won't worry about the sills. They can be done in Raptor too. And that should tidy this thing up a treat. It's been looking a bit of a mess, and yeah, it's quite nice to get the thing in a coat of paint and looking something. It gives you enthusiasm to carry on. Also need to mount the seat, hydro. Yeah, I'll dry fit everything before painting the interior, so I don't have to sand it down again. I mean, it isn't. That's the beauty with the Raptor. When you're building a car, if you do forget anything or you haven't got round to fitting a component, you can just grind it off, weld the new bit on, bolt the new bit on, as the case may be, and then just put a bit more Raptor on, and it sort of ties into the existing paint really well. You know, it's not like normal gloss paint where you have to blend everything in. It just all mats in together and looks good. So yeah, on to this. Let's cut some steel. I made a cardboard template and marked the steel already, so let's cut some steel. trying to get on. So the engine bay is now all in Raptor paint. Looks really clean and tidy. I'm quite impressed with the results, to be honest. It's got that sort of textured finish. It never looks as good on camera as it actually does in real life. I've been playing with the seat position. I've moved the steering column across a little bit. It's always a little bit of a strange one with BMWs because the pedals are offset far right. In the standard car, the steering wheel is off centre as well, so it's just not an ideal setup. I put the standard sort of side mount seat mounts as far up against the tunnel as I could, and it is hard up against the cage and just basically in the wrong position. So I'm waiting on some 4mm steel, and then I'm going to make my own mounts and sort of bring the seat as far this way as is possible. Get it literally hard up against the tunnel with the seat mounts. They're kind of offset. So if that would be just a standard L shape, then you know, I'd move the seat what, 1.5 inches further across this way, which would probably do it. That'd probably be about enough. I'm not really sure with these door bars, because it is tight. I mean, there's no space there at all. I suppose another inch and a bit over and it would be acceptable, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to cut them out and do NASCAR door bars. I'll get the sort of seat position finalised and then make a decision on that one, but that looks like a bit of a sort of pelvis crusher in an accident as it stands. So yeah, but make an assessment on that later on. If I have to cut it out and redo the door bars NASCAR style, so be it. It's no big problem, a little bit more work, but potentially worthwhile in the end. I don't know if I mentioned that the X section is complete in the back, and the intrusion bars, they're all complete and done. I think that was in the last video. I welded up this massive great ugly BMW hole. That is a huge improvement in my mind. I never liked the way them things look. I mounted that was the rear wiper from the compact. I managed to mount in there and just have a single wiper up the centre, so that cures the problem of all the wiper mechanism being tucked away in there, because there's obviously no access now, the hole has been blocked off. So that was a sort of decent solution. This bit all had to be replaced because it was rotten behind the screen. So yeah, I had to cut out quite a lot and plate that back up again. It's not the tidiest thing in the world, but with the trim over the top and the windscreen in place, you won't see that. And the latest thing, I have started messing around with the engine. And I'm glad I did. There was sort of quite a temptation just to put the thing back in there again and get going as soon as possible. But across the old front pulley, these are an absolute nightmare when they get older. They're sort of two-piece with a piece of rubber in the centre as a harmonic, and the rubber deteriorates and they basically spin the centres out, and yeah, it's no fun. So I'll probably get an ATI one to replace that. And yeah, it's clearly been sitting in an extremely damp environment because the tensioner pulley for the cam belt is disgusting. So I either need to clean that up or potentially get a new one, which would be a better idea if they're available easily enough, which I'm sure they are. So yep, a new one of them. The cam belt was brand new when it went on the car, but that was 6 years ago and I sat about doing nothing, so I might as well replace that. It had a brand new genuine Toyota oil pump, so there's no need to get involved with that. That can just stay there, that'll be fine. The block, I've started cleaning it all up. I'm just going to put some matte black block enamel on that just to tidy it and seal in so it doesn't rust again. But that was the right state, flaky bits of rust all over it, so I've put some rust killer on there, attacked it with a wire brush and some machine cleaner, and that'll take a while, but that'll come up. And then I'll paint the block. I need to buy all the proper blanks for the redundant water lines. There's quite a few when you delete everything, so I'll measure them up and figure that one out. And I've removed the water pump because I'm going to use a Davis Craig electric water pump. Do away with the thermostat, just literally make a little plate with a tube and an AN fitting on the end, and exactly the same with the side. If you use the Davis Craig water pump and controller, it has the function to be able to pulse, so you don't need a thermostat. So just an open system, straight through the water pump into the radiator and out and back again. So that's simplicity itself. I'm also going to run electric power steering, so that does away with the power steering pump. So literally the only thing the bottom pulley has to run is an alternator. On that basis, you can do away with the tensioner setup and just run a sort of stretch belt on there. I found that works really well. Does away with all the belt squeal you get with these. There's far less chance of the engine throwing a belt, and it's just simplicity. Just the simpler you make these things, the more reliable they are. That's what I've found anyway. So yeah, I'm just in the process of cleaning this up at the moment. I'll pressure wash the gearbox as well because that is a bit of a state. The bearing, the pilot bearing in the end of the flywheel feels a bit crunchy, so I'll remove that and replace. All the cam seals and the main crank seal was replaced when we sort of gave this thing a refurbish when it went in the car, so I don't think there's any need to mess around with them. So yeah, we're making some sort of a progress. I've still brought the radiator and fan and everything in. I need to make some mounts for the radiator. I'm going to use the fuel tank from the SLK for now, and I've got a little battery mount, so I can use all of those in there, so they can be sort of mocked up and popped into position. The other arch is now all tubbed and complete, so that's then finished. All the holes in the firewall, apart from the ones that I need. There's two for the fuel lines there. I'll need a return line hole as well, and I use bulkhead fittings because I've got braided lines for them. So yeah, that's all tidied up. So yeah, that's a kind of review as to where I am at the moment. I'm sort of desperate to get the interior complete. I need to get the seat mounted. Once the seat is in position, I can then mount the hydraulic handbrake, figure out the best position for that, and get the plate into mounting that too. There's a few, I've got to weld these holes up where I took that bracket out from there. There's a few other holes that were from where the hydraulic handbrake was previously mounted. Wasn't a very tidy job, so I want to remove and do that again. Yeah, and then it's going to be a case of firewall on the back, and once that's done I can get the interior prepped up for paint. So that will be the next sort of big job really, but I need some steel for the firewall still. I need to order that. Yeah, So once the interior is painted, then I'm just going to do the pillars, the roof, and most of the bits you can see around the panel work just in a standard gloss black. I'll probably do the sills in Raptor because I'll be behind side skirts. So yeah, basically anything that's visible bodywork wise. Door shuts I'll probably do in Raptor as well. So mask a line down here, and then these in gloss, that in Raptor. Yeah, like I say, sills in Raptor, this can all be in Raptor up to here. Mask around here. So yeah, that's a sort of summary of everything that's going on at the moment. So next up, continue with the engine, get this thing tidied up in enamel. There's nothing to prevent me, once that is complete, bolting the engine to the gearbox and actually putting that in the car, because I can throw a sheet over that while I'm painting the rest. There are some modifications I need to make to the engine mounts. The engine mount was extremely close to the heat shield on the steering column, so I need to sort of scallop a lump out of the engine mount to give a little bit more clearance there. And there was also a problem when the previous owner measured the prop shaft, it didn't meet properly. I think it was about 3mm too short, so there should be space just to move the engine back 3mm so I don't have to mess around with the prop shaft again. That would be the simplest solution on that one. So how I'm going to achieve that, I'm not really sure. I could slot out the hole 1mm there or 1.5mm there, and then slot the brackets where they mount onto the engine 1.5mm, so the thing will slide back a little bit. But that's another sort of situation I'll cross when the engine is ready to go in position. I can get the position mocked up and we can go from there. So yeah, anyway, on with cleaning this thing up. Well done if you've made it this far into the video. I know this one is a little bit of a feature film, just trying to piece all the bits of progress I've made together into one thing, so we're up to date. So as it stands, this is exactly where we are. Block painted. I've ordered some textured black for the cam covers. That's due tomorrow, so I can paint them as well. I think I'm going to put the engine in the car as soon as I've finished with this sort of stage. And progress should be a little bit quicker from this point forwards, because for the most part the fabrication work is now complete. I've still got a few little bits and bobs, but nothing major. So yeah, we'll see you all soon.